Hello everyone, welcome back to Serious About Salvage and another video on the channel. Today the plan is to continue with this 2020 Renault Clio that we've got. This one up on the ramp. We need to find out if this thing will drive. We know it runs, but the question mark is whether it'll drive. And I don't want it sat on my ramp any longer. So I thought I was prepared this morning with the right parts to sort out this suspension damage. But one of the parts hasn't turned up, unfortunately, so we're going to have to do this video backwards to how I planned. I had planned sort suspension damage out, get the wheels back on it, see if it moved. If it all moved okay, back on the ramp, strip the front end off, find what parts I need. But it's going to have to be the other way around. We're going to have to strip the front end off, then fix the suspension damage. Well, I mean, I will do as much of the suspension damage I can first, and then we'll strip the front end off. And I'll probably come back for me in the morning, it'll be in this video for you guys, with the inner tie rod that's missing to complete the suspension, and then we can see if it runs in this video. Oh, that's the plan. All makes sense? So there's the car. We already know what the problems are with this. We've got a bent low control arm, and the inner tie rod has snapped. I had ordered low control arm, inner tie rod and a track rod end. Where's our control arm? And here is our track rod end, which are correct, but for some reason, like I said, the inner tie rod wasn't there. I got some oil and filter as well. We always do oil and filter on these cars. So yeah, we can make a start and we can do them. We can do the control arm, and I will probably remove the inner tie rod. Ready? Sorry about the noise. Chainsaw man's at it again next door. Yeah, remove the inner tie rod, and then we might as well just get on and get this front end stripped off. Get a proper look into exactly what we are missing, what we need, and I do need to have a proper look inside because there is supposed to be a radar here. There's supposed to be like a foam square piece. It's got a radar and it's got electronically operated vent flaps to let more air or less air to the radiator pack, and that's all gone. And in terms of wiring, I think I've sussed that out. That one up there is the spotlight. This one plugs into a loom that then splits into two plugs, one for the radar and one for these electronically operated vents. That's what I kind of have figured out, and that makes sense. So that sorts our wiring issues. Obviously I'm going to have to go and find a breaker that will snip this plug off for me so I can rewire it back up and obviously find them parts. But yeah, best thing is for us to get it stripped down first and find out exactly what we need. Get it all ordered in one go. And I'll have to get that, so 1 minute. Yeah, sorry about that. That was actually my parts place. The reason why the inner tie rod hasn't turned up is because they can't get one. So I'm going to have a look around for that. It might be an eBay job. Anyway, like I said, we can get on with some stuff. It's just going to have to take a bit longer before we can see if it'll actually drive. So, right, in terms of control arm, you've got obviously the ball joint through the hub, and then you got a bolt at the front. It's a big nut on the bottom of it, and then there's the bolt at the back. I can't quite get you in to see that. I'm pointing at it now. It's that nut head. Bolt comes out the bottom. So that'll be quite an easy swap. Whilst that's out, we'll then tackle trying to get this inner tie rod end out. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Right, let's get that done. Okay, that was very easy actually. You can see the end of the steering rack there where I've just unwound the inner tie rod, and obviously your control arm is completely missing. Gone. What I'm thinking now as well, I don't think it's wise to put the control arm back in, because we've got all this room underneath now to get to the end of that rack end and put the inner tie rod back on whilst the control arm's out of the way. So in terms of suspension, I think, yeah, we're best off waiting. I need to get on the internet and find one actually, don't I? So I'll do that briefly now, and then we're going to have to bring it down and make a start pulling this front end off. That's the next job. Oh, sorry. Well, that went great. These are the old parts here. You can see just how bent that is now compared to the new one, which is flat. Obviously there's your track rod end and inner tie rod. We will reuse that boot. They don't come with a boot, so we'll need to reuse that. But they're identical. They look the same. So that's good. Right, I better find this inner tie rod because we're stuck on the ramp until I've got one. And it's looking like most places are going to have to order it in, so yeah, I'm a bit worried. So I'll get that looked into now, and then we'll come back and we will pull this front end off. It's got to come off. It's mostly all scrap. Okay, let's continue. Right, there we go. That took a bit of doing, that did, mainly because obviously I've never pulled one apart before. I didn't know where any fixings were, how to pull them apart, so it's just guesswork on your first one. Next time I'll probably do it half the time. And before I started it looked really complex, but now it's all in bits. There isn't actually that much going on, not that much jaw bracketry and stuff like that. There's quite a bit on the front of this crash bar, but all of it is okay. Jaw headlight brackets, this foam piece, horn, it's all alright, so I can take that all off, put it onto another front panel, and that should be okay. Look at our rad pack there, well, half of it, the air cannon radiator, water radiator there, intercooler's there, yeah, what's left of the front panel, under tray, front bumper. Now obviously, like I said, all this top section is good, barring I want to change that grille. Obviously all the bottom's gone. We've got a good spotlight and a grille there, but I've now found out that this loom that goes round to my other spotlight is like a bumper loom, so I could probably get that old piece, goes round there. That doesn't solve the loom though for the radar, that's something separate. Two splash guards under there, they're knackered, pair of headlights, fine, and there's nothing else really. It's just going to be figuring out, like I said, under that bumper, that radar and all that stuff. There's nothing else really I can see. Obviously chassis legs look perfectly fine, nothing to worry about there. All the hoses, all fine. There's not a lot there. You got, like usual, 2 radiator hoses, 2 intercooler hoses. This is obviously your airbox, all perfectly fine. In terms of metalwork, everything is as it should be. Even the wing mountings haven't moved. So far, I mean, I don't think it's going to be too bad. I don't think there's anything wrong with the water bottle either. It's weird that it's got none in it though, so maybe a closer inspection on that needs to be had, because it wouldn't be completely empty. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that properly at some point. I'll fill it with water, that's the easiest way, see if it leaks. Anything else? No, I don't think so. So I had a little bit of a Google on the inner tie rod. Managed to find the OEM part number, and would you believe it matches a 2012 onwards Peugeot 208 on a 1.2. So I've ordered one of them to get tomorrow. So fingers crossed. What I'll do is I will take my track rod end and my old inner tie rod with me in the morning to the parts place, and I'll check it before I commit to buying it. But hopefully that figures out that then. And with us now having the front end stripped, we know exactly what we need. The only now question mark is, what is in the back of this car? And is anything of it salvageable? I really wished the radar was here, but it's not going to be. Let's drag this one. It's been launched in. Obviously I don't want to really damage anything. Not obviously the bumper parts, but the rest of the car. Let's drag it over here. Ugh. So centre grille, we know it's knackered, but like I said, I can get part number off that now. This under tray, that's great, I can get part number off that. That solves them 2 bits. What is this? Here. Oh, it does look, alright, it's just a bit of a... Alright, that's good, that's okay. That's part of that. And that splash guard. Yeah, that's the other one there. So that's fine. Anything else? Where's the torch? Over there. I'm obviously going to have a massive tidy up now, because it's a bomb site. Let's have a look. Please be a radar in here somewhere. I bet that's the cover for it. I bet that's the cover for it. Oh, I don't like there's anything else other than yet more rubbish. Oh, look at way up there. Some McDonald's and Burger King. What's that? What's this? Oh, is that the spotlight? Oh, it's a spotlight. Let's have a look at this. Oh, it's got a cracked lens. I wonder how much of it you can actually see when it's in. Well, spotlight's there on its own, which is random. Are we going to find this radar in here? Oh. Oh. There's nothing else in the back. Strange that radar cover's there. It's looking like it might have been half-inched by the look of it, because that radar cover, I can't imagine. You know what? They stink. I mean, oh, that stinks in there. Them bags stink. I've got a glass coming, and I will look in them bags before I throw them away, just in case. But yeah, with the fact that the radar cover, oh, that's interesting. The radar cover is there. Leads me to think that there was probably a good chance. This is good. This is really good. This goes on there. That's really good, because I couldn't find one. Yeah, the fact that the cover's there. What's going on back here? That's weird. Okay. Leather and fabric cleaner. That's going to get sprayed in there at some point. Oh, it's dust remover. Is it scented though? Nice load of chips in the back if we're hungry later. Gutted. Yeah, it looks like the radar is gone. And I'm not surprised really, I'll be honest, because they're not cheap. Oh, is that like that? These seats have been down at some point. Doesn't really matter right now. Yeah, the radar's gone, looks like it. Unless it's bagged up in one of them, which, like I said, I will check. But they're going outside before I open them because they stink inside. And the other place it could be was underneath the driver's seat. There's a bit of something there. No. Oh well. Okay. Okay. It is what it is. Right, so now can't do anything now until morning when I get that in a tie rod, and hopefully that's right. So we'll come back, we will do what we wanted to do. We'll get this driving, move it over there, probably move it straight back, but it's a worthwhile exercise to make sure. Let's look at that now, it's dry. Yeah. Alright, right. I'll be back in the morning, hopefully, with the correct part. Okay, it's now the next day, and I've been and got my Peugeot 208 in a tie rod. So let's have a look what we've got now. If we piece together the old one. Something like that. Obviously, like I said, we are going to use this boot. We've got a new track rod end. Get it out of the bag. That's right. And then we've got how do I get in it? A new tie rod. So I've checked this already. That screws in perfectly fine. And if I pull that back a bit, them threads look exactly the same. If you look, if I line it up correctly, the threads start at the same place. So there's no reason why it won't work. Because obviously, bear in mind, all that thread that snapped off is in there. So there's plenty of thread. So a bit of homework has paid off for us there. Because basically what was happening was all my parts places, I rang them all. And because the car's still relatively new, they all said the part is dealer only. The dealers don't release the part numbers and stuff for a certain amount of time, so that patent parts can't be made and stuff. They're protecting their own investment at the end of the day, I understand it. But a bit of homework, and we found out that the inner tie rod is the exact same inner tie rod as a Peugeot 208, which is not a surprise. Both French cars, it happens a lot. But I'm sure, you know, if we went to a main dealer for that, I mean, that cost me £20, that inner tie rod. I would suggest it's probably 3 times as much, maybe a bit more. So it's worthwhile doing that bit of homework. And we got lucky this time, right? So now we can build this back up. I know I didn't tidy up much, but I didn't want to until it's back together. So a lot of it can go in the car then. So yeah, we need to get this inner tie rod back on. And then it's... I'll put this... Is that... what's going on here? That's better. Turn that steering. Helps us get to the end of the end of the steering rack. There we go. Turn it back on. There we go. Right. Yeah. And helps us get to the end of the steering rack down there. We get the inner tie rod on. Control arm back up. And then we can finally check that this moves. Come on. Right. Right, so I've been going through some of the comments this morning about the first video on this car, and a few points people made. The tax ran out in June 22. I haven't checked it myself, this is just what someone said. And that does coincide with how rusty these brakes are. No surface judge. Again, this cleans up, it's not a problem, but why has it been sat for 6 months? And more so, how did it rack up so many miles in about a year? 26,000 in like a year, so it's been well used, hasn't it? And yeah, it has been a bit chavved up, I get it completely. But you know, the stickers will all come off, it'll all clean up nice, so we can get rid of the exhaust. And the car is what it is, isn't it, at the end of the day? It is a salvage repaired vehicle. And you don't know what you're getting until you get them home. And then you find all these bits, so it's all a bit of a punt, it's all a bit of a game, it's all a bit of fun. And I enjoy it, so yeah, I mean, like I said, the car is what it is. It's gonna still be a reasonably cheap car when it's finished, I think. But parts do rack up on these, you know, these new stuff, all the bits that are hidden. And we've still got the one big question mark on that lower radar. But anyway, let's get another question mark out of the way on whether this drives. Let's get this suspension put back together. Right, it's on. It's all together. I thought before I took this bit of wood out, I'd explain to you what exactly I was doing. I can't remember if I said earlier in the video or not, but that bolt head there, you can't get the bolt out because the drive shaft's too close. So you're going to make this gap bigger, and the only way to do that is to raise the control arm, because it brings the hub up, brings the drive shaft more level. I mean, I'll take it off the wood now and you'll see what I mean. Look in there now, the gap's smaller. Oh, so yeah, it's all back together. I haven't adjusted properly the track rod end yet. I mean the tie rod for tracking. I'll get it somewhere near and then I get them done when they go for bits and pieces. I mean, it needs a lot doing yet, doesn't it? Or does it? Yeah, it does. They're both toting in at the minute. Yeah, so I'll sort out that in a minute. But it's easier to do when you've got wheels on, because you can see roughly where they're pointing then. So that's kind of the next step, to see if we can get some air in this tyre. Like I said, it's only temporary for it to move around, and I think, well, I know I need a good tidy up, but I think, is this one flat? Put that back in there so I don't lose it. Yeah, that needs pumping up. I mean, this may not air up. I don't know, we'll just have to try it. So get some air in the compressor and we'll give it a go and we'll see if these tyres will pump. But then we're almost there, aren't we? We're almost ready to try it. Right, so we'll see if these will air up and keep air. Well, this one's taking it for definite. Get some in it. I mean, don't matter if they go down. This is one that's showing the wire on the inside, so I bet there is a leak. I'll put 35 in it. Try the other one. If anything, I think it's this one that's going to be the pain, with it being off the bead. Yep. So you need a couple of hands really. Try to make it air up. Oh, so close, but can't get this to stay on and pull it at the same time. I'm gonna have to get some help. Right, I've got some air in that tyre. Staying up at the moment. Like I said, it's only to move it around here. I can't hear any air coming out of them, but they're both pumped up. And I've got the tracking somewhere near. So I mean, it is that time. We now find out whether it's going to drive. I mean, I've got no reason to suspect it isn't going to do. There's nothing under there to lead me to believe that there is going to be any problems. But you never know. You never know. Crazier things have happened. That locking wheel nut key is going back in there. I'm a bugger for losing locking wheel nut keys. I really am. Chainsaw's at it again. I think we will have this bonnet down. At least we can see. where are we going then? Okay. Let's push it a bit forward. No? Handbrake on? Yep. Christ, who's put that on? Handbrake was a bit stuck on then, but it's come off with a bit of a rock. I am going to have a good tidy up next, don't worry. I'd rather get the video finished with then. Like I said, I can pack everything up properly. Put all the parts back in the car. And I'm done with it. Right. We know it runs. Start it up. It flashed up then. 4-wheel drive auto. These aren't 4-wheel drive. So we've got even more lights now. Yeah. Right, ready? Clutch feels fine. First. Yeah, it moves. Oh. Anyway, it moves. That. Right, happy right now. That's better. Yeah, it's okay. I do like it in here, you know. It's nice. Steering feels good. It is nice in here. We will have to turn it off. We know there's no coolant, don't we? There we go. Running and driving Renault Clio. Slight dent there, isn't there? Yeah, okay. I mean, it'll all come up nice. Good polish. I need to get this bird poo off right now, because we all know what happened to the last Renault Clio that had bird poo on it. It burnt through the paint because they have crap paint, or at least the older model does. So I'm going to get some sponge and soap and clean it up. But yeah, it's going to take a bit of tidying up this car, don't get me wrong. I mean, it probably has been used and abused. One pointed out the crash radar didn't exactly do its job because they have autonomous braking. It's quite funny really, isn't it? But yeah, things like these scratches and stuff we're going to have to deal with. With it being such a new car, it needs to look the part, doesn't it? It needs to. I think a good polish, sort them bits, like get them stickers off, get the exhaust off, return it back to how it was from factory. Be a great little car for someone. A great little car. And obviously the price will reflect everything that's happened to this car. I'm hoping it'll be a very, very, very reasonably priced, almost 2021 car. This, it's sort of very, very late 2020. So like I said, it's only what did I say, 16 months old in last video? It's not 16 months old, is it? It's if it's late 2020, let's call it 21. It's just over 2 years old, isn't it? Just over 2 years old. Don't know what I was on when I said that in last video. Made some good progress. I've ordered some parts. I've got a bumper skin. I've got the lower grille. I've got an under tray. I know where there's a rad pack, a front panel. I'm still struggling with this radar. I need to try and figure out that exactly. But we'll get there with it, it'll be alright. So that's it. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching as always. Massively appreciated. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, don't forget that thumbs up. And don't forget, if you've not already subscribed, make sure you've subscribed. It doesn't cost you a penny. It helps loads with the YouTube algorithm of spreading this channel to people that haven't heard about it or know about it. YouTube recommends channels, and the more subscribers, the more thumbs up you have, the more new people it offers it to. So it's like a pyramid effect. It just, the bigger you are, the faster you grow. Simple as that, really. There's other things involved, don't get me wrong, but it's very complicated. Anyway, yes, thank you for watching. Really do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.